Let's talk a little about right. We talk about technical rule as a user-object rule. So basically, if you come back to technical rule and user, what is the requirement of a technical rule? So, as we discussed, right, if you have a, let's say here you're saving, decide right and this is your saving tool. And if the HR right, they just onboarded some of the users. Let's say they have already user and, as you know, let's say today they onboarded 2 to 3 user. So I will consider the user, like you know, XYZ, PQR and some of the user, the onboarded. So as a part of our, you know, user import. So those user gonna come to your saving right. So we call it as a user import. We call right, as you discuss, maintain. I'm just repeating the statement so that we never forget the things. So it is like user import or people. It is used to call it as a trusted recon right. And some of the terms they use to call it as an authoritative source. Okay, so through authoritative source, these user as getting onboarded to your saving right. So once, like in the time of onboarding the user right. So they have certain thing like this would get a by default access to the sum of the systems. Let's say, if I come, people like you know, these guys are joining any company. You should, by default, get access to Outlook right. So this is a basic ethics, you know when anybody join the company. This would get access to like Outlook or your time state application to fill the time state your company portal right. Where you gonna view your some of the company information. So how these access are given by default right. So it's given a default thing and that default access it is given to the users through the technical rule. So we set up a technical rule yesterday, right based on some certain condition. So technical rule always works on a condition basis. So let's say sometime in the real time what will happen. You might have seen two kind of an employee who are coming to your organization, right? So some of them will be contractor right. And some of them will be your employee. So those information, right contractor, employee, based on their, you know, business, so we are going to give them access to separate system. So that time right. How would first you know that this person is a contractor or employee right? So you will have a property or an attribute called, like you know, employee type. So this employee type, right, it is going to tell you that you know whoever you are onboarding, this XYZ or PQA user. It's a contractor or an employee right. So these condition, I can write it up in my technical rule. In the technical rule I can write the condition so that right now, when it see this employee type is an employee or contractor and based on that it will try to give access to the target system. So something you should notice right when I am running the user update rule. So the moment it is running the user update rule right. It is seeking, in the background right, which attribute of mine is matching with what condition basically. So in what I mean, if I am passing user information, let's say this user, recently it got onboarded to save, and sorry to the HRMS application, this XYZ right. I'm passing the first name. I'm passing the last name. I'm passing the city. Okay, and based on the city attribute, I'm trying to, you know, accommodate with the technical rule. So I will say, if a person's city is like some CTC, he should get access to DB application. If a person's city is like a BB's, he should get access to Active Directory application. I'm just giving an example, right? So the user, the import rule, user, import job. I have run right. The moment I run that right, there is a background job. It is called write get a rule run job. Okay. So these rule run job. It is deflated right in, you see, when it run automatically background until unless you check the check rule. Okay, there is a button called check rule. I showed you yesterday. So if the check rule button is checked and you work right is already, checked. So these two things right. It will check what attribute of mine right. It is matching with the technical rule, so it will go in your system. It will try to find out each and every technical rule. Suppose I have 5 technical rule. So all the 5 technical rule right first it will go to see right. You know whether my condition is matching here or not. Again, it will go to another technical rule. It will see whether this condition is within matching with me or not. So it will traverse, one by one, all the technical rule. So once it's found the matching technical rules and it will trigger. To try to trigger that. Okay, so that we have configured right. Let's have a look into that. So just go to the admin. In the admin, click on the identity repository. Sorry in your policy and go to technical rule. So here we configure this technical rule right. If you open it, what condition I have given here is a normal, simple condition. If a user city equal to CTC right, he should get access to the database training CF that his account will get. His account will get created along with that. I'm also mentioning, this database application of HR type, that is your entitlement type. Under that what entitlement I'm trying to assign. That is, a triple HR. So these entitlement I'm trying to assign to the user. And here I'm marked as a birthright unless you mark it as a birthright right. It is never gonna peak on the day 1, so there is a purpose, right? Why I should mark technical. See this technical rule as a birthright. Okay, I'll come to that part as well. Right, if you don't mark it as a birthright for sure. It is not gonna peak all your user on the day 1. That means when the users are getting on board from here to here. Okay, it is not going to evaluate if I do not mark it as a birthright. So there is a other purpose. Why that birthright checkbox? It is their right. Because without birthright also we can run a technical rule. Without birthright we can run a technical rule, but that is used to write in a run through other scenario. What I mean. This technical rule, right, this technical rule. I can run through other media. What is that other media? I'll talk about that today. So it's like through a user update rule. Also, I can trigger a technical rule. So that I'll show you, after we discuss about the user update to what user update rule means. Okay. So now I think we are pretty much clear about the technical rule. Right. This database training. See a force. It is a account right. And after that in a second, if you see a simple type as a database training, see so first you are seeing, this is account right. And under that, if you see there is a double colon, it is a HR right. So basically this HR is entitlement type. What is it entitlement type? Basically it's a group. So that group it is containing one or more entitlement. So under that, if you select that right after that, you will see this HR group. It's containing two entitlement. One is people.